have a bit of a rant that I want to address, and it concerns the large number of men who say women are together, right? And we're talking about some of the things that men do that hurt us, the things that we find to be harmful, hurtful, uh, indicate neglect or abuse, ways that we would like to see men make improvements for the better. And inevitably, though, instead of taking that as a blueprint, getting together with some other guys and figuring out how they can become better men, perhaps using some of those suggested changes for, as to launch their platform, they will instead attack the women. And inevitably, that attack is worded in this somehow like this. Well, all you ladies do is complain. We're not good enough for you. And these are problems that you claim we have. What is your solution then? How do you want us to change? What should we do? You need to tell us what to do. And I always look at those, and I've seen a few of them over the last 24 hours, which is why this is back on the forefront of my mind. And I'm like always amazed. It's like, I understand that black culture in the United States is a lot different than it used to be, because these young men are not being raised by their fathers anymore. My dad used to be on my brothers and my grandfather or my uncles to get them to he was constantly saying men don't do that or men do this, right? So he was establishing a standard of behavior for them to model themselves after, for goals for them to achieve, ways for them to carry themselves in the world, how they should conduct themselves if they want to be included in that honorary category of man, right? Because a lot of guys, are confused. I mean, just because you're born a male, that does not make you a man. It just makes you a male. And, there are certain things that you have to achieve in this world, certain ways that you have to conduct yourself, certain things that you have together, and certain ways you have to execute solutions and come up with problems. Solutions to problems, analyze things, problem solve, all this kind of stuff. All of those things are under the umbrella of manhood. And if you don't have anybody showing you that, and you learned it off of TV, or you learned it from some older boys in your neighborhood that also grew up without their father and think they have this all figured out, well, this is like, dysfunctionalness being passed down from one generation to another. So it also makes me wonder, if you see online when they are talking about some ways that men react to things, or things that men are going to do, it's always we. Women talk about me, or they might say, well, my friends, or a couple of ladies that I know, or a woman I talk to at work. I'm like, it's always a very small group that they're talking about, if they talk about a group at all, because most of the time we don't. But with guys, they get into this thing. It's like this pack mentality. Well, we gonna do this, and you make us look bad, and it's always like this inclusive thing where they're identifying with a larger group of men, even though no one said that, right? We're not attacking you or anybody else who doesn't act the way that we're talking about. So if these guys that you and your friends or whatever don't do the things that we're talking about, why are you getting in your feelings about it? See, that's some bitch made shit right there. And it's, these boys have been raised around, they're just around too many women. So they're adopting female, what we typically call female emotion-based reactions. Instead of manly things where you put your feelings aside for a minute. Let's focus on a solution to this problem. Let's get this shit done and handled. That's me. That's what we look for as women. That's what we look for from the men in our lives, for them to handle shit and to take charge, to make things happen. Now, where was a big failing of this? A woman talked about it on the comment section underneath my latest video. The one about the guy who wanted women to give up all their ideals and standards and just take any man and hope that he, just absorb his love. She talked about the videos that she watched of the news broadcast when Katrina was going on in New Orleans. And as she spoke, I said, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing those." I was more focused on what was, the devastation and high levels of the water and the dead bodies floating around and all that kind of stuff. So even though I saw it, that wasn't my chief focus. I was very alarmed at what I was seeing. But once she pointed that out, I kind of went to my memory banks, through that Rolodex of my mind. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's right. That was pretty awful. This is what happened. The people like up on roofs and stuff, right? Women and children on roofs, the roof looking to get saved. And the black males are just standing around like on their phones or, just idly just doing nothing. They're not trying to wave down a boat. They're not trying to, make connections with the air helicopter people, saving folks. They're not trying to do any of that. They just standing around looking, aimless and confused. It was the women, the black women, who were trying to save themselves and their children that were taking action, getting the white boys over with their boats. Because, you notice that none of the black men had a boat. That's why they was on the roof. They don't have a boat. And so it put, black women in a position where they had to depend on white men in order to save their lives. The other thing that happened is once everybody got into the, the big football, what they call that thing down there, the dome. And there was no, started running out of toilet tissue and fresh water and all this kind of stuff. The black males, instead of trying to secure those things, going as a group of men, protecting the women and children, instead they start raping them. It's all kind of sexual assaults in there. Women getting beat up, gang raped, all kind of stuff. That was their solution to the problem. So as you see, there's some real issues with black men that I don't really understand. And this thing where, we as women point out a problem that we want them to address, we want them to do better, to do more, to be greater, and to show us that they can do these things. They can solve the problems in the black community. They can get together and join forces and be like a really good team. This could be nationwide in each city. They could do this and really change things for the better if they were so inclined. But instead, what we have are a group of men who are just aimless and directionless, and they're always talking about we need a leader. Who's the leader? And it's like, why do you guys need somebody to follow all the time? Why can't you be the leader? You don't know how. It's too much responsibility for you. Somebody has to step up to the front and take charge. And, somebody needs to be the one who is like the ringmaster and organizes all the other guys. But if none of them step forward because they all wait for somebody to tell them what to do, then that's why you have like millions of black men aimless and lost, directionless, confused, and not doing shit. They're not accomplishing anything. You have pockets of men who do because, they have those goals, they have that structure in their family or whatever. But I'm talking about the overwhelming majority. They're not really doing anything too positive for themselves and not really progressing. And but to turn around and say, expect the women that you think that submits to you, that you need to be the leader because you're the natural leader now. That's what you all be pushing down our throats. You want to be in the positions of power and dominance, yet you turn around and ask those very same people that you want to dominate and have power over to tell you how to lead and how to fix things and how to be a man. Please explain to me how that makes any sense. The very people that you think that's so much beneath you, you want them to devote their time, energy, and effort to teaching you how to be this magical man, this person with power, this person who makes change, who this. I mean, why do you think that that's her responsibility to solve your problems and fix your issues? These women are not your mother. Even your mother shouldn't do it. Oh my God. Because this lady, I took this class, right? And she was talking about her son who's in his 30s. And, or, like early, like 31, 32, I mean, early 30s, but still he's in his 30s. And she was talking about how she found out that he bought a car and didn't tell her. And she was like all devastated about it. And I'm thinking, okay, wait, she said he got a full-time job and she had given him a car, but the car was worn out. And so then he went and bought himself a car. I mean, with his salary, he bought a car. And she was like, oh, well, how much interest did you pay? And this and that and blah, blah, blah. See, I mean, you doing too much. I was looking at her and she's an educated professional. And I'm like, oh, because she was teaching this class, right? It was a professional development course that I was taking. And I was wondering why she felt that she needed to be like all up in her son's mix like that. I don't even give a fuck if he was paying $200 a month in interest. That was his choice. I mean, that's his money. You know what I mean? He's the one making it. Not me. I mean, I would spend my money, but if that's what he want to do, that's his choice. So we have a very different style of parenting, and a lot of women do that, and they run in and they caretake and it run interference and do too much for their sons. And I want you guys to stop doing that, because the only way that your sons are going to rise up and become the men that we can all be proud of is if you stop fucking coddling them. They're not babies, okay? Stop it. Stop running interference for them. So what, they fall down and scrape their knee? So what, they fall down and have to spend extra money for making a stupid decision? They'll learn. We all did it. We all learned. I mean, can only raise a kid so far, and then after that you got to let them go to make their own mistakes and choose their own path in life. And she didn't seem willing to do that. She was very had him in like a chokehold or something. And luckily he had enough presence of mind to break free from it. But it was really she kept talking about it. It was like obviously really fucking with her head that he went on and did this thing. And I was the only one in the class when she was telling the story about how he did it. I stood up and applauded. She looked at me crazy. I'm thinking this heifer got some issues. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I just don't understand this unwillingness to be responsible and accountable for yourself and your choices. Why do you think women need to help you fix yourselves and help guide you to be a better man and to help tell you the solutions that you need to do? I mean, after all, you don't listen to women anyway, right? So why should we waste our time telling you anything? You got yourself into the mess. You made these disasters. Y'all, it's your responsibility to fix them. In most of the instances, all you have to do is stop doing the fucked up things that you were doing that treats women in a fucked up way. I mean, that's real simple. But, and others, it's going to require that you guys join together as a group and work together to solve a lot of the problems. But either way, that's not a woman's job to tell you. We're not your mama. Okay, we don't want to run interference in your lives and treat you like a child. That's your choice. That's your red wagon to pull, not ours. Anyway, this is not really like educational video. It's more of a rant and an observation that was very disturbing. If you've seen something like this, ladies, and you have a comment you want to make, put it down below, and we can talk about it some more in the comment section. Oh, and by the way, next week I'm going to start with doing my first live stream here on YouTube. I'll put up a notice about it on my Facebook page. If you are not already a subscriber to my post over there, my public post, it's Deborrah X Cooper. That's what you need to subscribe to. And that's where I will be posting the notifications about the live streams and things like that. All right, I will talk to y'all later. I'm going to work on the Saving Our Girls video and put that up within the next day or two. And then we'll schedule the live stream, and things are going to be different around here. We got some big plans for this channel, and I wanted to especially shout out to my Patreon subscribers who making all this that I'm about to start doing possible. You guys rock. This is Dev Cooper. I'll talk to you soon.